KLK 102.5 FM. Good morning to you. This is Community Conversations. Kato Wonder is in the studio with you. I have Mrs. Kabila Jones on the phone, and today we are joined by members of the Jonesboro chapter, of the Kappa League. And joining us today we have Mr. Philip Anderson, Mr. Jakylan Johnson, Mr. Jerrian Green, Mr. Justin Gregory, and Mr. Carl Lewis. We want to thank each and every one of you young men for stopping by the studio today. So we're going to start with the introductions a little bit, just kind of a little brief overview about yourself. We'll go around the table, then we'll get into our discussion about Kappa League. So we'll start with Philip.
My name is Philip Anderson. I am a junior in Middleton High School, and I am an Alpha class member of the Jonesboro Kappa League.
All right, and next.
My name is Jakylan Johnson. I am 12, and I am Alpha class of Jonesboro Kappa.
I'm Jerry. I am an Alpha class member of Jonesboro Kappa League, and I attend the school of Jonesboro High School, and I am a sophomore.
My name is Justin Gregory, and I'm a beta class of Jonesboro Kappa League, and I attend Poundstone Academy High School in Memphis, Tennessee.
My name is Carl Lewis. I attend Middleton High School. I am part of the Alpha class of Jonesboro Kappa League.
I want to welcome every one of you to the studio, and I got to give you all props. I like how you all actually follow directions and actually come up to the mic and speak directly to me. I have a lot of my adult guests who struggle with that, so props to you all. So we're going to go ahead and get into our discussion of Kappa League, and let's kind of tell us a little brief history of the Kappa League. Anyone that wants to jump in and answer that question?
Yes, sir. Kappa League was founded Thursday, February 12, 1969 at Allen Leroy Locke High School in Los Angeles, California. The program was founded under the umbrella of Guide Right. It is a national mentoring program founded by Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
All right. Would anyone else like to add anything to that? Or Kabila, you have anything that you may want to add to that? Or any questions about the history of Kappa League?
Well, yes, I wanted to ask each of the young gentlemen, when you were approached with the opportunity to join, what made you say yes?
Actually, that was point 7. That was actually point 7 on the list, but we can go ahead and get into that since you asked it. But it's okay. Like since you put it out there, let's go ahead and just transition into that. So once again, we'll go around the table in reverse order this time, starting with Carl. Why did you decide to make the decision to join the Kappa League?
Well, I wanted to get my grades up, and they started mentoring me. They started helping me out. And so I think I went from a 1.8 to like a 3.5.
Everybody give him a round of applause. Continue.
It's just it changed my life a lot. Used to be in the streets a lot. They brought me under their wing. They started mentoring me.
Now, Carl, you said in the streets. Now, you don't have to get specifics, but what exactly were you doing in the streets? You weren't gangbanging, were you?
No, that's for me to know. That's for me to know.
Okay, well, no, the reason why I say this because there are people out there who are listening and watching who may be in your shoes, who may be in similar situations, who they may be going down the wrong path, and they want to turn themselves around. And I think what you're doing is inspirational to turn away from that, and again to take your GPA from that 1.8 up to that. You said 3.2, 3.5. See, that's inspirational right there.
It's more so just
That's amazing.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's move on to Justin. What about you?
Well, I joined Kappa League because I saw them do a community service before, and I saw how people were just happy about it. So I wanted to be a part of it. So that's one reason. Then I ain't gonna lie, I had saw them strolling before. I was like, and then I saw a whole bunch of emails and mine. I was like, I'm gonna be a part of this.
But hey, at least you kept it real. But now, Justin, I gotta put you on the spot. But obviously, it's much more to it than strolls and women. Yeah, that comes along with it. But what have you gotten out of it as far as the community service, as far as kind of going back to Carl's example, bringing your grades up, walking on the right path? What have you gotten out of it?
Well, like part of Kappa League is development leadership. So before I even learned or even knew about Kappa League, I wasn't a leader at all. I was just more of a follower. But when I got more into it, I started becoming a leader and learning how to like lead in the right way instead of just being a follower. So
That's very good. It's very good. We are speaking with members of the Jonesboro Kappa League, and they're just talking about why they decided to join Kappa League, and we're going to go down next to Jerian.
I joined Jonesboro Kappa League to better myself as a young man. To better myself as a young man and be more of a leader and more of a person that can build instead of break down. And then we do a whole lot of helping people, and I seen that they help people, and so I just wanted to join and help people because I like helping people.
And what opportunities have you gotten to use that to help people since you joined the Kappa League?
We did a food drive for Thanksgiving, and we gave out food to people, and we partnered with the community to help them, and they helped us as well for showing up and letting us help them.
All right, let's go to Jacqueline.
The reason I joined Kappa League was to become a better young man in the world, and to even shoot for the moon, outland the stars. I just want to be above and beyond.
All right, well, I'm sure you definitely will get plenty of opportunities to do that. And of course, as you mentioned earlier, you're 12 years old and you speak well. You as well as your brothers are articulate, very fine young men. You know, once again, we just salute you. Let's go now to Philip.
I joined Jonesboro Kappa League because it enhanced my skills on being a leader. Before Kappa League, I was that type of person who was different and knew I was different, but because I didn't have anybody to lead, I tried to stay in the back of everybody else's cliques or parties, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it enhanced me because I can walk in the room with my head held high, I can speak out loud to people clearly, and I feel as if it gave me aspirations to do what I want to do.
Alrighty, Kabila, you do have the talking points from the email, right? Let me forward it to you right quick. I was going to let you ask the next question. But while I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and ask it, and anybody can jump in. What is the purpose of the Kappa League?
Achievement and leadership.
And kind of break that down a little bit. What does achievement and leadership mean to you?
like follow like go to your dream goals.
See the vision and make it plain.
You know, that's something that Dr. Wilbur Gates, who we'll be talking about a little later in the show, when we get to the Gears Foundation, that is something that he always harping on, and that was something that he imparted to me. But we'll definitely be talking more about that later on in the show. I just sent you the talking points. Anyone else want to chime in on the purpose of Kappa League?
I believe it's a brotherhood. Me and my brothers, you know, we became closer through Kappa League. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, at starting out, I didn't know Carl and Will. I didn't know Justin and Will. I didn't even know Jerry until Kappa League. And he's been in Jonesboro for I don't know how long.
All right, now you mentioned brotherhood. Obviously, you all are young men, and Kappa League is an outreach of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So you're kind of getting mentored about brotherhood by seeing the Kappa brothers and how they interact and how they mentor you. And I know that Mr. Moore takes you, and also Mr. Little takes you guys all over town. You all have taken part in various community service events. So kind of talk about how the men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated are instilling brotherhood into you young men as Kappa Leaguers.
They teach us how to be more of a helper and a leader than a follower, and they give us a better understanding about the world, and they show us how to do business, how to do right in school, how to talk to adults, and how to dress properly.
Yeah, like they always like tell us like, do what we supposed to do, and like no excuses at all. Like be responsible with your actions or consequences.
Yeah, and a lot of us didn't know how to tie our ties till we got into Kappa League. So I see that as a big help because say like you can't just walk in with your tie untied, like especially like if you go into an interview and they ain't even gonna hire you. You walk in like they're unprepared. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And that's very important. And I'm gonna let Kabila join it because I don't want to just dominate the conversation, but it's very important. And I'm glad these men are teaching you that because I'm sure you see a lot of your peers at school. You know, some of them are sagging their pants, they're talking any kind of way, they're dressing any kind of way. And I know peer pressure can be intense for you guys to, follow, like them. So, what is it like, facing that peer pressure? Do y'all ever get made fun of or messed with because you all dress, professionally? They may say, "Oh, y'all look like some pretty boys, y'all preppy or whatnot." But just kind of give your thoughts on that, and then I'm gonna let Kabila kind of take it from there.
I mean, yeah, we get made fun of a lot in school. People would say like, this let me make Kappa stuff. Let me make Kappa stuff. I ain't afraid to maybe turn my life around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I'm in Memphis, period. I mean, you gonna get made fun of about anything you do that they not doing. But like, you don't see a lot of Kappa League members in Memphis, Tennessee. So when that you get made fun of a lot, but then I just like put that to the side and just keep doing what I'm doing. Just do what I'm supposed to do.
Well, I get made fun of a lot, but I really don't care what people think. As long as I know I'm doing right, I'm okay with it.
I just feel you just have to take pride in what you do and what you're a part of. So when people talk about it, it's one of the things that you can just shake off.
Like when you dress in your suits or like dressy, they just be like, oh, you gotta go to church or something. And it just made me feel glad because I know I can dress and I know I'm having people watching me. So I know if they keep watching me, they're gonna want to do it.
Will, that you want to add anything this for these young men?
Yes, I want to throw in just a question of income. Okay, they talk about how they're learning how to be women of citizens. They're carrying themselves better in school, and I'm sure they're gaining the respect of some others who may criticize. They're gaining more respect than they know, and that doesn't appear from their supporters and even their parents. I do want to ask, with those for ninth grade and above, has being in Catholic taught you or opened your mind to what you want to do outside of high school? How important is to set your life up now so that you are on the right path when you do graduate and if you choose to go to college?
All right, that's also one of our talking points. But again, we'll go ahead and address this now. So, future plans. How has Kappa League influenced your future plans, and what are those future plans?
Well, my future plan is to go to the league. That's my future plan. Like,
Which league?
NFL. I want to go to the NFL by any means. I work hard every day. I feel like sometimes I'm unstoppable. I see the vision and I make it plain. That's just me.
That's something else Dr. Gaines also was very strong on. And so I can definitely feel his influence at this table.
I just feel that they just keep us accountable. They keep us working toward the aspirations. There's never a day where we can be like, oh, I want to take this day off because I don't feel like it. There's no excuses. You have to put it in every day. Every day.
Well, I mean, that's true. Life is, once you especially when you get out of college and you start working, or for those who may have military plans or something post high school, basically at whatever point you enter, quote unquote, the real world, whether it's 18, 21, 22, or whenever that is, you'll find that you have to make it happen. People aren't going to give you a free pass, and you maybe find yourself in a situation where you don't get much help or support at all, and you still have to push forward when other people can't, see or don't or refuse to believe in what you are trying to achieve. So Just kind of throwing it out there. Quabela?
I have a question. This may be kind of back me up a little, but for those that have been here from the beginning, okay, I know some of them have said they feel changing themselves, their attitude, behavior, grace, everything. Are they surprised by the changes that they've seen in themselves? You know, they're striving to work harder to make even more changes. They actually have like a really goal to, you know, somewhere that they try to check off every now and then.
Yes, I'm very surprised. You know, we can't give you kind of background. Like growing up with no father in the house, I thought I'd just be like everybody else. You know, probably end up dead or in jail somewhere, but not even. I done joined Kappa League. I mean, it made me like have like a vision for myself. You know what I'm saying? It made me realize that there's hope for me in the future instead of like being down bad like everybody else.
Okay. All right. Now, the young man that recently fell,
I'm sorry?
May you please repeat that?
Repeat your question. Who were you addressing it to?
The young man, I think you said he's 12.
Okay, that would be Jakylan. All right, so this question is for Jakylan. So Quabela, go ahead and ask again.
Okay, so I know he's still fairly young, but does he feel like he's really learning and picking things up to the older guys and his mentors or the Kappa
Okay, for those who may have missed it, the question was for Jakylan. She wants to know, what have you picked up from your other Kappa leaders, and then also the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated? What that's why I said with the young, her starting with the junior Kappa leaders. So go ahead.
I picked up a lot. I just like learning from them, and they're teaching me new things like how to tie a tie and all types of stuff, teaching me stuff I haven't learned and getting me prepared for life, the real world. Just trying to set me out there and making me go on the right path.
All right, let's kind of get back to our talking points, and we got about 3 minutes, no, actually 2 minutes in this segment. So we'll kind of start it off, and then we'll pick it back up after the break. The history of the Jonesboro chapter of Kappa League. So if anyone want to kind of start off with a brief introduction about that.
It was founded in January 28th of 2017, but we got inducted in April of 2017. It was founded under the championship of pole mark Jonesboro Kappa Alpha Psi. Alumni circle.
All right. Anyone want to add anything to that about the history?
Currently, there is 2 classes.
Hold on. Say it again, Quabela. How many were in the Alpha class? Excuse me.
19.
Okay, so there were 19 in the Alpha class of the Kappa League, and I believe we're now in, is it the Gamma class that you all currently?
Yes. Currently, we just got the Gamma class.
Okay, so the Gamma class. Okay. Okay, so
the Gamma class gets inducted on 17.
Okay, so right now, so the Alpha and the Beta classes have completed, and the Gamma is upcoming. Okay. All right. Well, we've got about 1 more minute to go. We are speaking with members of the Jonesboro Kappa League. We're speaking with Philip Anderson, Jakylan Johnson, Jerion Green, Justin Gregory, and Carl Lewis. And these men are in the studio with us today, and they're just talking about all aspects of their chapter. And when we come back from break, they are going to talk about some more things regarding Kappa League. And looking at the flyer coming up, they've got Founders Week coming up. Actually, it started yesterday, and it's going on to the 17th. And we're going to make sure that we talk about all of the events that are going on for the Founders Week. And I'm sure that you all got a lot of activities planned, and it's definitely going to, I'm sure, be a great treat. So don't go anywhere. It is going down. You listen to K on 2.5 FM. All right. And we're back on Community Conversation on KLK 102.5 FM. Kato Wonder is in the studio with you, and I am joined by members of the Jonesboro Kappa League. And we actually have some new members at the table, so I'm just kind of go around and read the lineup again. We have Mr. Philip Anderson, Mr. Tilvicio Banks Jr., Mr. Adrian Mosley, Mr. Justin Gregory, and Mr. Carl Lewis. So getting back into our conversation, so let's now talk about some of, well, first, before we get into that, once again, let's introduce ourselves and the school that you represent. So we'll start, once again, with Philip, and we'll just kind of go around.
My name is Philip Anderson. I am a junior at Nelson High School, and I am part of the Alpha class at Jonesboro Catholic.
I am Tavikia Banks Jr. I go to Annie Camp. I am 12 years old. I am a part of the junior Kappa League Alpha class.
My name is Adrian Mosley. I go to JHS. I'm part of Jonesboro Kappa League Alpha class.
My name is Justin Gregory. I'm part of State class, Jonesboro Kappa League, in Patterson Academy High School, Memphis, Tennessee.
My name is Carl Lewis. I'm currently a junior at Nelson High School, and I'm part of the Alpha class of Jonesboro Kappa League.
Alrighty, so gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into some of the programs that you all are involved with. If you all have any national programs and also local programs that you all are doing as well.
So one of the big local programs we got going is the Hunger Awareness. It is a program where we're feeding the community. We're raising canned goods and non-perishable items to give to the food bank. Our goal is 1969 because that was the year that Kappa League was founded. And we also are taking donations, by the way. I'm not trying to promote our cans or anything.
Well, actually, this is the perfect forum for that because if you all are doing community service, we want to get that out there. That is the purpose of KLK. So don't be afraid. I mean, we encourage that. So if you have information, so if somebody wants to donate to that, let them know.
And we also have the cold season coat drive. We are partnering with the Ascend group, which is another program here in Jonesboro.
And it's sponsored by Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Yes, and we're accepting coats, gloves, scarves, hats, and wear that is gently used, and we're taking those to give to the needy.
And of course, if somebody wants to donate, either the cans or the clothes, where can they do that at?
And one of our newest programs.
I was asking, I said, if somebody wants to donate a coat or cans, where can they? Because there's people who's listening or people who's watching the video, who might want to support y'all. So you gotta let them know how they can support.
You can contact our Facebook page. We got Jonesboro Kappa League on Facebook. You can message them. I promise they'll message you back if you got a donation. Yeah, the cash out Jonesboro Kappa League. You can send it to there too.
All right, and that's for monetary donations. And we'll be talking about that a little later on in the show. We've got a thing on here about the donation to support the program. Are any other programs that you all have going on, local or national?
We have the Speak Out program, Dare to Be Different. It's an anti-bullying program in local school districts. We stand, we against bullying. We gonna have
Basically, it's a program where we just advocate in our school districts that we stand against bullying. We will voice our opinions and we'll speak to the victims of bullying around these Arkansas districts. And we also have a cleanup, Keep Arkansas Clean and Green. We have a highway mile that we have a highway mile, Highway 63 bypass, sitting south of Jonesboro.
Kind of give a landmark of where that mile is, like what something is close by.
It's right by Nice Pack.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
We also have a national program where we're connected with the local NAACP we attend the meetings and we voice our youth opinion to the city about fighting out against injustices. You know, we have a big problem with police injustice and police brutality in the nation.
Alrighty. Anything else? And then, if not, Kabila, it will go into the future events. Anything else before Kabila goes into the future events?
I think that's all.
All right, Kabila? Kabila, you still with us? I think we lost you.
Sorry, no, I have a phone mute. Okay. I just wanted to ask you about future events that are coming up. You mentioned the anti-bullying on the 20th on February 23rd. What else do you all have planned?
Well, in 3 weeks, we have our Black History Quiz Bowl coming up February 24th. So we getting ready for that. We'll be attending that in the next few weeks.
And that is being sponsored by the Black Professionals Network. So, are any of you young men going to be on the team?
I will. Pretty much.
Y'all gonna win? Gotta have that confidence. Gotta have that confidence.
How we do this?
Have
We
you
gotta
all
see.
picked guys already?
What was that?
What was the question, Kabila?
Have they gotten their study guides already?
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
Well, okay. So when they asked the question, what's the first black radio station in Jonesboro? Y'all better not get that one wrong. Alrighty, so also I'm looking on the flyer. We've got Founders Week, and it actually started on the 11th, and it's going to run through the 17th. So kind of give a breakdown of the events for the Founders Day, and kind of just talk about how it all came together.
Well, at school, what we're gonna do is we're gonna dress up the first 3 days, and then the last 2 days we're not gonna dress up. The first day we're gonna wear our business attire. It's Founders Day, February 12th, 1969. That's when it was founded. And then but Tuesday we're just gonna dress up. And Wednesday, Valentine's Day, we're gonna do extra hearts, and we're gonna find 3 roses to give to 3 girls, 3 different girls. Just because it's Valentine's Day, 3 single girls.
I'm sure my guy Justin's gonna love that because he joined Kappa League for the women.
For the women.
So we know Justin, that's gonna probably be one of his favorite activities. What about any community service? Do y'all have any community service plans as far as Founders Week? Not all at once. Now, I know y'all.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I make sure that y'all. I know. Okay, well, let's lighten the mood up a little bit. What about the turn up? Be a Kappa League party and stuff. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Maybe kind of give a little preview of what they expect there.
We gonna come out. We gonna turn up. We gonna turn this up. We gonna come out with them shoulders. So that song come on, get out the way.
Point well taken.
Right.
Have the camera ready. Have the Snapchat filters. And, all right, before we go too left with this.
Right.
All right, Kabila.
All right, so I would like to, I had the pleasure of talking with the Kappa members about the Gears Foundation, but I want to hear from the young men what the Gears Foundation is and what is it like meeting Dr. Gaines, those who have had the chance.
It's a scholarship foundation named after Dr. Gaines that supports Kappa League. If you want to, you can donate $5 to the program, or you can go to the website, jonesboro.wixsite.com. Also, you can visit our Facebook page.
All right, I wonder, because Dr. Gaines is such an iconic and influential figure in Jonesboro, I actually want everyone at the table to answer that question. So since Carl started, we'll go to Justin and then we'll bring everybody else in. We're asking, how has Dr. Gaines and the Gears Foundation influenced you?
It influenced me because it's just like for a scholarship. Yeah, so when I think of scholarship, I just think of school. Like,
A lot of people ain't had that opportunity.
yeah,
Yeah, higher learning.
because I grew up in an educational family, so that's important for me. I was like, I gotta be a part of it.
All right, and Adrian.
To me, it's like a scholarship. You know, you're trying to achieve your goals in life. You want to do better.
And to Vikio.
To me, it's like it's making me want to strive harder to go to college and get my degree. That's pretty much what it's done for me.
Philip.
Dr. Gaines, he opposed me because I know he's one big public figure of Jonesboro and the whole Jonesboro area and the black community. I feel as if that the scholarship is a big opportunity and our futures are very bright. So the money that is donated to the scholarship is going to be a blessing to anybody.
And as young men, when you come on the Arkansas State University campus and you see the circle and you see this building that bears Dr. Gaines on it. Have any of y'all read the book, The Circle, that tells about Dr. Gaines and the other members of the circle, their story as the first African-American faculty on the campus of Arkansas State University? If you haven't, I definitely encourage you to do so. But keeping that in mind, knowing that Dr. Gaines, was a pioneer, a trailblazer, and now getting the recognition that he's getting now, how does that make you feel? What comes to mind when you see that?
Made me feel good.
Anybody else?
It just made me feel,
See a black person.
black person succeeding. Yeah.
And I think that's important because, especially as African American young men, especially with all of the negative stereotypes that are often associated with us, to see people like Dr. Gaines achieve positive things to get to these heights, it says, hey, I can do this too. I don't know, I'm sure all y'all got Instagram, so there's actually an account on Instagram called Because of Them We Can. It's actually started by a lady that's a member of Delta Sigma Theta. Basically what she does is she takes photos of young kids that pretty much look similar to famous people, and she depicts these young kids, and the theme is Because of Them We Can. In fact, I think for like each of the ones Founders Day, they have like, I just was that for Kappa Alpha Psi Founders Day, they have some young boys dressed up, with the bow ties, and it's saying, hey, I can one day become a member of Kappa Alpha Psi or any fraternity. So I think it's very important that we see that people have paved the way, showing that us as African American young men, we can achieve these things. So I'm just definitely thankful for the example that Dr. Gaines has set. Kabila? No, I'll let you take over.
From meeting Dr. Day, have some of the guys maybe changed their education plan or career path or maybe added something to their list?
Yes, I want to go to school and be a dentist.
Okay. And so Carl says Dr. Gaines inspired him to want to become a dentist. Anyone else?
I want to become a music producer and major in video graphic.
So Justin, you got some skills for doing video? KLK is looking for a volunteer to do video. That'd be some good experience for you. I'm just saying. Putting it out there. Anybody else?
He's inspired me to major in technology and biology, and some hope be a forensic scientist or education.
All right, so Philip says Dr. Gaines has inspired him to be either a forensic scientist or a detective.
Dr. Gaines,
All right, Adrian.
Dr. Gaines has inspired me to be a music producer.
Also, we got a couple music producers here. You definitely are the future. All right, anyone else?
I haven't been inspired, but I've always wanted to become an engineer, and the foundation that has been named after him is making me strive harder into becoming an engineer.
All right, well, That's definitely good. Teacher, definitely believe that you can do it, and each and every one you can accomplish your goals. Kabila?
I have another question. I don't have time to have that.
We have about 4 minutes, 45 seconds.
Okay. Since I missed again on my previous hearing question that's on the list, I do want to ask, what has the relationship with their parents, their guardians, have been like? What has your relationship with their guardians been like since they joined Catholic?
All right, good question. Good question. Kabila's asking, how has the relationship with your parent or guardian, or I'm gonna even expand it, even with teachers and adults in general, been affected since joining Kappa League? And I actually want to hear from the whole panel. So we're gonna start with Philip and go around the table.
Since joining Kappa League, my mother, she's seen the better side of me. I promise I have some bad days, but she's seen the good side of me. She can trust me. She knows that I know right from wrong, and that I know what to do in any given situation. And my teachers, they'll see me in school. They'll be like, "You're a well-mannered young man. You're a well-dressed young man." I like that. Like, I feel as that Jonesboro Kappa League is one of the best things possible for a young man my age.
All right. To Vicky O. Jr.
Catholic has really done a lot for me because my mom and dad, Catholic made me more respectful to my mom and dad and my teachers. My teachers, they all the time they're like, your mom and dad raised you so well, you make good grades, you stayed on time and all that. And that's what Catholic has done for me. It made me more respectful of my parents and other adults.
Adrian.
Happily made me and my mom have a good bond together, and like my teachers, they like how the way I dress. They be saying I'm a good person, stuff like that.
All right, Justin.
Well, for me, it's been going swell. So, like I said, I saw college. I saw schools for Catholic, so it inspired me it inspired me and my mom to just go further into school and scholarship. So I mean, yeah, I be having some bad days, like they constantly get on me about the grades and just school period. But then I just bounce back on, like, I gotta get this, I gotta do this, I gotta do what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, it's been going good for me and my mom.
Carl.
One thing Catholic teaches, they teach discipline. I've been disciplined ever since I ain't gonna say ever since I joined it because it takes time. It's a process to be disciplined. So yeah, I've been being disciplined, and I think my mom seen a great change in me because I used to be disrespectful, non-respectful to her. It made me be more grateful about her. I used to be ungrateful, but yeah, she seen a whole new side of me.
Well, Carl, I'm gonna just say that she does it because she cares and she loves you. And you only get one mother. Cherish her while she's here. Because like I can say, my eyes no longer with me, and when she's gone, that's it. So I just want to say that I'm proud of each and every one of you. I'm glad that Kappa League has inspired you to be more respectful young men. I am a former school teacher. I have taught kids your age, and I have dealt with some of the things that come with teaching young men your age. And you're right, you all do have y'all days, and y'all can test teachers to the limit. But again, they do it because they want to see you succeed. And by you all being on this path, trust me, it's going to lead to good things. And I will lift myself up as an example. If I, weren't respectful and, mind my teachers and listen to folks, I wouldn't be in this position. We wouldn't be recording this interview right now, because as you get older, people, if you want people to help you along in life and to support you, you have to show respect. If I, had been just a knucklehead, and there's no way Dr. Gaines would have lent his name to help us to launch the station on there. So again, I am proud of each and every one of you. We're speaking with members of the Jonesboro chapter of Kappa League. They've got Kappa Week coming up this week. It's going down all the way until September. They're going to give out roses to the ladies on Valentine's Day. So you young ladies at the various high schools, be on the lookout for that. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with more. This is KWK 2.5 FM. right, so let's take a break. And we're back on Community Conversations on KLK 102.5 FM. We are speaking with members of the Jonesboro Kappa League, and we've been talking with them all throughout the hour, talking about all the different programs they got going on, the Gears Foundation, and as well as the Founders Week, which is currently going on and will be going on all the way through the 17th. And we've once again switched up at the table. We still have Philip Anderson at the table. We still have Tavikio Banks Jr., but now he is joined by his father, Tavikio Banks Sr., who is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And we have Mr. Cornelius Moore, who is the pole mark of the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And we have Mr. Carl Lewis of the Jonesboro Kappa League. So let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Banks Sr. and Mr. Moore. Now, as you've been listening to these young men talk this whole hour, so just what are your thoughts on how things are going, how things are progressing, and even what you all hope to see from these young men in future classes of Kappa League in the future?
Just good morning. I believe they have well disciplined themselves and also taken into account holding each other accountable for their actions, also working with each other, talking to them every day, just trying to figure out the things that are going on. Just hearing them talking about Kappa League, it really put a smile on my face to listen to them, even with my son, expressing just the 5 phases, self-identity, training, competition, social, health education. These are some of the things that they talk about amongst their sports, their day-to-day activities with their parents, their guardian, even studying for Quiz Bowl. Just trying to see just a change in the actions of how they petition themselves, and also making plans to further their education, looking at colleges. We have to start at a young age. I mean, these are the things that we have to mold into them. As being African American male, we want to make sure that they're equipped with the tools and the resources that they need that's not readily available. Also, to be able to have a position to be able to create scholarships. So these are the things that we want to be able to put out there and put in arm's reach for them to be able to further their education.
Absolutely, and just to piggyback off of what Brother Banks has already said, I'm extremely proud of these young men. And just to add to that, I want to identify some other Kappa Leaguers that we have. We have a junior Kappa Leaguer, Derek Island Jr. We have Cornell Smith and Kadarius Poet. And and these guys, they're all impactful young men in their communities, in their schools, in their homes, in their churches. This morning being Sunday, first day of Founders Week, and we had scriptures being posted on the group chat. And so we always make ourselves, we want to make ourselves well-rounded individuals, especially young black men. We want to make sure that we change the narrative of the young black men in our community, because they're all not thugs, they're all not gang members, they're not all athletes, they're all, we actually have some very high intellectual young men. We have one, Bobby Codrick, who's in Forest City High School. He's a valedictorian. And so Jamarian Tucker, top 10% of his class as well in Forest City High School. And we have some other academic achievements in Jonesboro Kappa League. We're not just about the ladies and the girls and things like that. I mean, like, hey, they have fun. They're men. We want them to like the ladies and all that. But academics, they have high GPAs. And so I'm proud of these young men and what they are accomplishing in their churches and their homes, the relationships with their parents, guardians. And we just stand, we're a young program. January 28th of last year was our inception. And look at what we've been able to do so far with the help of the Jonesboro brothers.
And I definitely want to commend you and your brothers at Kappa Alpha Psi for the work that you've done with these young men. Like I said earlier in the show, I see you all over town at various events. For example, NAACP, the MLK parade, and several other events. And that's good for them to get these young men out there to see this. And Quilla, did you have something you wanted to say?
I just want to give a round of applause to everyone. I'm very impressive and pleased with the work that they have done. Shout out to Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you for bringing this program to the community. It was much needed and long overdue. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you for your support. KLK has been a major support of the things we do at Jonesboro, the Kappas, as well as now the Jonesboro Kappa League. And so, you guys have been very helpful, flexible with what we're trying to do. You've been a voice and an advocate for the Jonesboro Kappa League, and we plan to do other partnerships and other contributions to the radio station for their support.
And we definitely appreciate it. And that's what we're here for, to get the word out about things. And of course, as I said to the young men earlier, to be an example. Again, this is something that you can accomplish as a young black man. You can start a radio station. You can start a business, any type of business. A couple of you guys said you want to be producers. You can open your own production studio and produce big time, major artists. I mean, these are things that you can accomplish.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's kind of, as we wrap things up, let's kind of go back to the Gears Foundation and the Founders Week and how people can support the coat drive, the can drive, and donations.
All right. We'll just jump right into it. Like, we just finished the food drive that Brother Anderson was mentioning earlier. We just completed that. That was a partnership that we had with the Delta Gyms Academy and the Delta Gyms and the Delta Academy with the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta. So we raised over 2,000 pounds of food for that, and that went very well. Now with the Ascend program, the AK's youth leadership group, we've raised, I know, almost 200 plus items for winter wear, because Jonesboro weather is absolutely unpredictable, and so we're getting ready to send those to the hub of Jonesboro. Mr. Chuck Kirkenlaw, we've been communicating, and we're getting ready to ship those off to help his program there. So please help the hub program. Just a little plug there, and also we do things for the voter registration. Oh my God, this is very important. These guys acclimated to voter registration, because the political climate will affect them in the long run. It'll affect them locally, as far as even on the state level, and then ultimately on the national level. But we want them involved in the policies that are going to shape their futures, and how they can get involved and have a voice. So we're partnering with the NAACP and Reverend Newsom, who is also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. And Dr. Gaines, he's a member as well of the NAACP, and also how to interact with the local police department. So those are some other things that we have, come to the shoot. One thing really quick before Brother Banks comes, I want to mention the anti-bullying bash and summit. That is a partnership with the Mid-South Health Systems, and we're in Brother Small Carter, and he's helping as well with that. And that's going to be coming at the end of the month. So look out for that flyer on our website.
And what's that website if people want more information or as well to support?
Well, the Facebook, definitely go to the Facebook page. Jonesboro Kappa League. Gears Foundation has a Instagram as well as a Facebook page. So the Gears Foundation, you can find that on there. And the website is the Gears Foundation .wixsite.com/gearup.
All right, we got about 1 minute left. We'll let Mr. Banks take us on out.
Well, I believe Brother Moore pretty much concluded it all. Definitely support the Kappa League, Jonesboro Kappa League. If you see any of the guys, let them know how they're doing. Any advice, any positive advice that you can exude upon them, please let them know. Also, too, just more, just the hunger. Please donate. Make sure that you find a young gentleman. And also, too, just saying where he can go. And also, too, make sure we still taking coats. Those small items for the weather in Jonesboro, and also, too, make sure that we're doing what we need to do and showing them the correct path. Any great advice that you have for them. We appreciate the radio station for always having our support. We appreciate you, and we support you as well. Just more or less what we had going on for Jonesboro Kappa League. I think today I'm looking forward to an exciting week. I know they have a lot of things planned. We're still going to promote community service as well as the different things that they have going on in the community. We're looking forward to upcoming events, and also too, is there any way we can help you or support any others? Please let us know.
All right, we want to thank you all for stopping by the studio, and don't forget, Founders Week all the way up to the 17th. May you all have a great and blessed day. This is Kate, WK, 102.5 FM.
Sweet.
All right, fellas.